everyone, and welcome to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I am your host, Margie Curry. And again, our lesson this morning is with our very certified and capable yoga instructor, Becca Impello, who's been teaching and practicing yoga for more than 20 years. Everybody knows AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. AARP is committed to offering opportunities for you to stay engaged from your home. Remember, before you begin any exercise program, make sure you check with your physician to be sure that you are able to participate. We don't want anybody to get hurt. All right, then. We're ready to go over to Becca and see what she has in store for us today.
Good morning, Margie. How are you doing?
Great, Becca. How about you this morning?
I'm good. Well, this morning we're going to focus on the shoulders and the arms. Last time we were together, if you remember, we did a good session that was focused in on the hip joint. So, our next biggest joint or one of our most important joints is our shoulder. So we're going to work with that today. And I have a little request for our participants. I don't usually ask us to use any additional props, although props are great things to use in yoga and exercise. But we just want to make sure everybody can participate easily. So we always use a chair. But today, a real easy thing for you to use that will help us do some work with the shoulders is some kind of long strap. Right? Or belt. It could be like the belt from your bathrobe. It could be a dog leash. It could be a long towel, right? That you can just kind of bunch up and hold. And we'll use it to do some things like give us some assist with some stretches and to do some pulling to give us some strengthening action. So look for a scarf, a long, soft, belt. This is a yoga strap or a long towel, and have it handy so that we can use it for some of our practices today.
All right, Becca, sounds great. We're ready to get started. Take it away.
Okay, well, very good. Let's go ahead and again, sit up tall in your chair, feet on the floor, hands resting here on your lap. And we're going to just do a little warm up for really the whole body. And then we'll focus in on some things for the shoulders, right? And just remember, if you've got some limitations with your shoulders, that's okay. Participate as fully as you can. If there's anything that doesn't seem appropriate for your body, anything that is not possible for you to do, you can usually do a smaller range of motion, a smaller movement, or the strap or the towel may be a good way to assist one of your arms in making the movements. But feel free to modify or change anything that isn't working for you. All right. So let's sit up tall and just take a few moments with our breath, right? You might close your eyes and just take that awareness up into your body as you breathe in and you kind of feel yourself fill up. And then as you exhale and that breath kind of empties out, take your awareness sort of down to where you're sitting in the chair or down to where your feet are on the floor. All right, so let's just take a few more breaths like that. You're trying just to deepen your breath comfortably. Don't force it. All right, so inhale and let yourself sit up taller. Exhale, feel the chair, the floor. 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in and out with that observation. And as you exhale this time, go ahead and let your chin drop towards your chest. And just feel the weight of your head there, maybe putting a little stretch to the back of your neck. And then let's just try to give that head a gentle roll from shoulder to shoulder. Just taking that chin sort of across the chest. And just taking a movement that feels good to your neck. That, it may feel like there's some tightness in places. That's normal, right? But that movement, gentle movement back and forth will usually help to loosen it up. Good. 2 more times, back and forth. All right, and then bring that head back up. Let's roll the shoulders. So we're going to be focusing in on these shoulders and arms like I've mentioned. So as you take these first couple of shoulder roll movements, really check in. Notice, how are your shoulders feeling, right? As you make this particular movement, what do you notice? And as we continue with our practice, I'm asking you to just keep returning your attention and keep noticing what you're feeling, what you're experiencing in your body. And I'll remind you to do that without judgment. Okay, you're not looking to assign blame. You're not looking to pass any sort of criticism on your own body. You're just noticing what's there. All right, one more roll back. All right. And then take the hands down to your sides. Let's open and close the fingers a bit. One of the benefits of using this strap or towel that I've asked you to add is that we're going to get some good work on our grip strength, or just our, activating our grip. And that's a great thing to be maintaining and working on as we age. It's a real indicator of overall strength and capacity, our grip strength. All right, now circle those wrists and hands around. Maybe you feel some pops and creaks there in the wrist. Let's get all those little pops out. Go the other direction. Good. All right, now let's make a little bit of movement for the torso and the pelvis. So start to circle your body, right? So we're just pushing that rib cage, shoulders, chest, waist around in a nice easy circle. Feel your weight shifting on your pelvis, on your hips there on the chair. You can make this as big or, kind of fluid as you want. You can really get that rib cage going a little bit more if you want to, pushing it forward, rounding it back, or you can keep it a little more subdued if that suits you. But let's all change direction now and go the other way around. Good. And then bringing it back to center now, sit tall. All right, now let's take the hands together, right? We're going to use the hands together to just help assist the arms. So bring them up as high as you comfortably can, right? They may have to stop somewhere in front of your face since the hands are together, right? And we're going to do this a couple times, and then we're going to separate the hands and see what it's like. All right, so we're just warming up our shoulder flexion. This movement forward and up towards the head is called shoulder flexion. One more time. All right, now let the hands be apart and about a shoulder width apart, and take the arms up and down again, right? And just see what you notice. What's different, right? Can you notice a difference in the two sides? Is one harder to get overhead or not go quite as far as the other? Was it easier when your hands were together? All right, now if you've got your strap or your towel, we're going to use it. Now, if you don't have anything that you can use, just do the best you can. Make the similar movements, but without the prop, right? So now I'm holding on to my strap, or you could be using your towel or your scarf, and we're going to bring the arms up and down. All right, so I'm getting some grip work because I'm gripping the strap, and I can start to pull a little bit, right? Which is going to make things feel a little different. It's going to activate some different muscles. So I'm kind of pulling the strap tight, right? Keeping it taut. All right, so remember, your movement is yours. It may not look or go as far as mine. It may go further. It may go less far. Avoid anything that's painful or sharp. All right, one more time. Arms overhead with the strap. All right, and then just let the strap rest in your lap for a moment. Open and close those fingers again. All right, and let's just do a little bit more for the trunk. Take a side stretch, reach that arm up and over. Now, if your arm doesn't come up and over very easily, remember that you could drop that hand to your head. That's a nice place to put it for this side bend. You can even do the side bend motion in your trunk without even raising your arm, okay? So remember, there's always a way that we can change it up and still get some aspect of the movement or the benefit and doing it a little bit different way. All right, one more time each side. All right, and then come back to center. All right, now we're going to use the strap again. However, if you don't have one or you decide you don't like the way that's feeling, you can do it with your hands clasped together, all right? Or you're going to hold the strap about shoulder width apart out in front of your chest. Now, I'm going to turn sideways for a moment just so you can see the action that I want you to be focusing on. So I've got those arms about shoulder height or chest level. If you've got a strap, you can pull on it a little bit. And I'm going to go forward and back. All right, and this movement is primarily happening in the shoulder blades, and it's pretty hard to see, right? So I'm trying to keep my torso straight up and down. I'm not leaning forward and back. I'm moving my shoulder blades, which is then going to move my arms forward and back. All right, so it can be tricky. Just do the best you can. We're trying to get awareness of those shoulder blades, movement in the shoulder blades, mobility, control in the shoulder blades really helps our shoulders and our arms function better. All right, so two more, back and forth, trying to just wiggle, move those shoulder blades. And then relax. You can let the arms come down. You can always give them a little roll or a little shake anytime you want to. All right, let's make a different, go to a different position now. We won't be using the strap right away, but we'll definitely use it again to just keep it handy. All right, but we're going to use the chair. Going to use the seat of the chair to be a base, a platform to bear weight on our arms, okay? And you could do this down on the floor as well. And down on the floor, like hands and knees position would be a little more challenging. So if you feel like you want to take something a little more challenging for your shoulders, your arm strength, take it down to the floor. All right. So here I am in tabletop. Before we go into just the arm work, let's do something for the whole body or the spine, especially rounding into cat and then flattening or arching going the other way. So we call this cat and cow in yoga. It's the spinal flexion and spinal extension going back and forth from a rounded position to a flat or an arched position. Good. A couple more times. All right. Now, let's stay somewhat flat, right? So remember, knees bent if you're standing, and using the chair is going to help you with that. All right. And then we're going to do a pull. I'm going to pull with one elbow, pushing with the arm that stays down on the chair or on the floor, right? And there's a little twist to the spine with that. So pull, push down at the same time, turn to one side. All right, let's alternate. Pull and turn, back to center. Pull and turn, back to center. Again, we're trying to get those shoulder blades moving, right? So this is another one to help that mobility of the shoulder blades and your upper back. One more each side. All right, now we're going to stay with those hands down on the floor or on the chair. You could keep your hands just shoulder width apart, or you can walk them a little closer together to the middle, like those thumbs overlap a little bit. And then squeeze your elbows in, right? I'm going to try to squeeze my elbows towards one another like I'm holding a ball or holding something there between my elbows. All right, then this is some strength for the triceps. I'm going to lower my elbows as far as I can and then press them back up to straight. Lowering down until my body lowers down, but I'm not shifting my weight. So whether you're on your hands and knees on the floor, or you're here on the chair like I am. We don't want to shift our weight back, right, with our hips. We just want to bend the elbows and drop, and then straighten them. Bend the elbows down, and then back up. Now remember, you can stop at any time. Maybe you've already done what feels like enough for your elbows or your shoulders, right? Or you can keep coming with me a few more. I've got about 3 more that I want to do. 3, 2, and 1. All right. And then let's just take our time, come up out of the chair, stand up tall, shake out those arms. You probably notice some sensation for your hands and your wrist from bearing that weight. Again, that's generally a good stimulus for your body, for your bones, for your joints, right? Even if it feels a little strained, right? And roll the shoulders if you feel like you need to move those. And then let's use our strap or towel again. All right, and this time you can just stand with a comfortably wide stance that feels very secure. You're going to take the hands pretty wide, right? Let them be out pretty generous, wider than your shoulders, wider than your feet. All right. If you don't have a strap or belt or towel to use, do this motion as best you can with nothing, right? The strap gives you that opportunity to pull, however. So as I take the arms up, I'm going to let them stretch back behind my head, any amount that's comfortable, right? I'm going to show you that from the side. So the arms are coming up, and maybe there's room to go back, but I'm going to be careful not to arch my spine, not to push my hips forward. Now, some people, if you have a little more flexibility in your body, might be able to take this in a circle behind their back, all right? But don't feel like you have to. Right now, my right shoulder doesn't really like doing that, so I'm going to skip that. I'm going to just take it back for a little stretch. And then release it here. Let's do 3 more times. And then on that third one, you have the option to stay there if you want. So 2 more. All right, so maybe stay in that stretch. Keep breathing. Now, if staying here is not great for you, you don't have to. You can keep moving, or you can take a rest. All right, release it down and give it a little shake, shake it out. We'll put that strap down. We got at least 1 more time that we're going to use it, maybe 2, depending on how much time we have. Circle the wrist. We're going to do 1 more thing here on the chair, or again, it could be on the floor. And this is going to be a shifting from downward dog, which puts a good stretch in the shoulders, to plank, which is a strength builder, not just for the shoulders, really, for the whole body. All right, so you're either in hands and knees on the floor, or you've got your hands on the chair, and you walk your feet back. If you're in hands and knees on the floor, you're tucking your toes, pushing your hips up and back, right? So we got that long stretch out of the arms. They're, up close to the face, or maybe alongside the ears. Take a breath or 2 here. You can have soft knees or bent knees. All right, so here we go. We're going to go shift forward, put as much weight forward on your hands as you can tolerate, and then slowly push back. And then shift forward, weight on the hands, and shift back. 3 more. One more time. Good. All right, take 1 more breath in that downward dog stretch. And then walk it in. Come on up. Again, give those wrists some circles. Give those shoulders a couple rolls. All right, now we can come back to seated. So if you want to get back into that chair, you can. If you want to stay standing, you could stay standing as well. All right, let's do 1 more pulling action with the strap. And by the way, another item that you could be using for some of this is a stretchy band, a TheraBand or a resistance band. If you've ever been given, a band from, say, PT to do some exercise with, and it has that, stretchiness, that would work as well for most of these, right? It's got a lot more give, so you're going to have more movement, but it can still work. So I want to do some pulling with the arms, right? Because pulling is really good for strengthening our back body. And it's relatively hard for us to get pulling actions when we're just using our body weight and gravity, which is what yoga usually is. All right, so we're going to take the strap out in front, and you're just going to let there be some slack in it, right? So I've got some looseness there in the middle, all right? And then I'm going to pull one arm back while I push the other arm forward. And then I'm going to come back out where it's on slack, and then as I pull, I get that tension, and then I come forward, all right? So I'm alternating that pull. We've got a little something to pull against. Again, it gets a good work on the grip strength by squeezing, holding that object, that towel or strap, if you got it. All right, pull. Remember, you can stop at any time. I'm going to do 4 more. One more. All right, let your strap or your towel rest in your lap. Open and close the hands. Let's take a little stretch for those muscles that we've been working with our pulling. Take one arm across the front body, using the other hand to just help hold it or pull it there. Good. Check in with your breathing. Take a fuller, slightly fuller, deeper breath in and out if you can. All right, let's take the other arm across. All right, and release it. All right, now we've worked a good deal of flexion and pulling kind of actions with our shoulder and some extension, but now we're going to work the rotation aspects. The rotator cuff, you probably heard of that in the shoulder joint. All right, so those are the muscles that are, responsible for turning, rotating our arm when we do things like turn a doorknob, pull a door open, various things like that. So let's work on that. Bring your hands out to the side, palms facing forward, kind of like that stick 'em up position or goal post position, sometimes it's called. And I'm going to take one hand behind my head and the other hand behind my hips or my low back, right? So the top arm is rotating externally, the bottom arm is rotating internally. So in and out, and then we'll bring it back out and go the other way. All right, so try to stay tall in your spine, not let your head move forward, not let your back arch away from your hands, and just keep going slowly behind the body, seeing, how far can you take them? Can you move those hands any closer sort of to the middle of your back, right? See which side goes easier on top, which arm goes easier on bottom. Good. We'll do 4 more of these, and then we'll use our strap one more time to help us with some stretches in these directions. 2 more. All right, relax. Might give that head a little turn right and left. Check in, pay attention. How are your shoulders feeling? All right, now for this next one, you may need your strap or you may be able to do it without, right? So I'm going to bring the strap behind my back, sort of just around my waist, and I'm going to hold on to it with one hand and use the other hand to pull, okay? And when I pull the strap out, I help this hand behind my back go further behind me, right? So by using the strap, I can kind of help bring that arm further over, all right? So just go to your tolerance. Don't force anything. But having that strap there may help you get that arm a little further back behind you. Just take a few breaths with it once you kind of loosened it up and you got it there. All right, now we're going to do a little further work before we switch to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and let go behind my back for now and take this strap over the shoulder, right? And then that strap is hanging back here. I'm going to go ahead and grab it with that hand, right? That's behind my back. All right, now I can use the strap in front and the hand in front to help me pull that hand up a little higher. Right? So that's a little different than pulling it over towards the other waist. Now I'm using that strap to help my arm come up a little bit more. So just see what that's like. How far can you go? What's comfortable? What puts it on a little bit of a stretch? When you kind of have loosened it up a little bit, stay there. Keep breathing. All right, now we're going to leave that hand behind the back, holding the strap. All right. If you want, you can choose to stay right here, right? Or see if you can take that top arm, reach it up, or the front arm, and bring it behind your head and see if you can grab the strap from the top. All right. So again, this is what this looks like from the back. I'm holding the strap at the top and at the bottom, and I may be spread further apart, but I can use that strap to just incrementally work my hands a little bit closer together. Again, you could do this similar work without the strap, but the strap or the scarf or the towel does provide a nice assist to get you probably a little further than you can go without it. All right, now let's just let go. Let the arms drop down, give them a little shake out. Notice how they feel. All right, and then we'll take that strap behind and do on the other side, right? So the first thing I'm doing is I'm using the strap to help me pull the hand behind my back and across. And again, if it seems like the strap is cumbersome, you might hold your hands, right? I think I forgot to say that on the other side. So you might hold hands behind your back and use that hand to pull it over. That's another way to do that. All right, maybe stay there for a few breaths, wherever you found that you can take that arm. All right, now let go. We're going to use the strap over the shoulder. Take that same hand behind your back and hold on to the strap. All right, now you can use the hand on the strap in front to pull that hand down behind your back, up and down, right? Pull it up a little bit, let it drop down. All right, maybe stay in a spot there if you've kind of loosened it up and found kind of your, place where you want to stay and hold it for a few breaths. All right, option to stay here or take that top hand, reach it up and behind you, grab the strap from the top, maybe work those hands slowly closer together. All right, one or two more breaths here. We're reaching our time limit. We got both sides in. All right, let that go. Let your strap go. And just take a moment here. Maybe give those shoulders another few rolls back. Just check in. Notice, how do your arms feel, right, after that work? There may be some new sensation because maybe you did some movements that your body's just not familiar with or hasn't done in a long time. I encourage you to keep on paying attention as you go through the rest of your day to notice what the effect of doing all this range of motion and strengthening work on your arms feels like as you go on. All right, so let's finish by just bringing the hands together in a sign of gratitude and take 3 breaths in and out. Full breath in, full breath out. 2 more. All right, and then just be thankful for your arms, your shoulders, your body, and of course, AARP Alabama that gives us these opportunities to work together.
Thank you so very much, Becca. What a challenging, intriguing session today. Really give us something to work on for our shoulders. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone for watching today. And we look forward to you tuning in again to AARP Alabama Mindful Movement. Thanks and have a great week. Bye.